Have you ever wondered where your decisions come from? Have you ever wondered why you always come to the same place again? Where you will spend more than hours in the game. That will either give you the best epiphany ever or make you hate everything that you like about gaming. Well, let's stick around and find out the true meaning behind playing League of Legends. Well, first things first, I noticed I went back to my origin and found out it just by mistake, that you can still play with the old skin in the current state of the League of Legends. And that sent a chilling feeling down my spine because that is why I started playing this game in the first place, because originally the first Volibear was a masterpiece. And I really wish it was possible to use the old Volibear voice lines also, because this champion, by design, is one of the best champions in League of Legends. Yes, the new bear is nice, but the old champion is, in my opinion, still a better version. Of course, it wasn't suitable for the stage of the game, but this is still my humble opinion. And this idea came from a deeper feeling, specifically from the old version of Volibear's lines, because they were simple, and they talked to your inner self. Of course, people think that by adding more spices, the dish will look tastier, but that is just a wrong idea that comes from the excessive nature of our current way of life. This game will be a good testament that whatever happens, Volibear symbolizes the storm of the game, the raging, relentless storm. But a lot of people don't know one thing. Within the storm, there is a concept called the eye of the storm. And if any of you is a physics major or has studied any form of science, you will know that mostly there are two forms of equilibrium, a stable one and an unstable one. The eye of the storm is the calmest place in the storm, an unstable location within the storm, so calm that you would say you are not even within the storm. And that is also part of Volibear gameplay in its own way. In this game, you'll notice by now, I added in this chart of the goal difference between the teams. The blue side is the enemy team, and the red side is our team. By now, you'll notice that we are losing from the start. We were invaded by the enemy team, so we wanted to invade as well. We failed miserably. We failed all the ganks, and we are losing at all stages so far. I want to pause this game to show you that there is a deeper question within each one of us, and that is, when you decide something, at first, it is not a single idea. Your brain generates a collection of ideas. Those ideas, where do they come from? And why do you decide to follow them? In this game, it is a series of bad events, one after another, where we are 10 people trying to come here and make something out of nothing, and you start to wonder, did I gank topside because I am used to ganking topside? Or was it the best decision at that given moment? Or maybe we are asking the wrong question from the start. What we should be thinking is, what is our main role in this game? Riot doesn't want to say it clearly, but there are some responsibilities in each role that need to be fulfilled in every game. Ours in this game is to create momentum. Junglers and supports are there to create a leading force. They are similar to the tip of the spear, the leaders of the game at a certain stage. The title of leading isn't made only for jungler. In other words, they used to be called the shot callers. That role will shift based on the stage of the game and based on who is suitable for everyone to be as a leader. For example, in this instance, what does my team want? My team wants me to make successful plays, and by now, you will notice that nothing happening is successful. What's happening? It is the complete opposite. Whenever we show up, something bad happens. So, to be clear, what is the common issue? What is the common thing in all these scenarios? It is us, the jungler. You, as the jungler, are the single consistent event that will happen throughout the game. That is why the meme that says always blame the jungler is, in a sense, true, but not all the time. Sometimes, you are playing the game with a bunch of, and here again, we should be careful about what we say, because right now, Riot is trying to breach what is known in the United States as the First Amendment of free speech. I don't know how or why someone who is just a guest on a huge platform will impose how and what to say about them. This is the first, and I believe, the first step toward the ruination of League of Legends. In this current era, after the release of those terms and services, the one that will be releasing it is the CEO of Riot, that will be known as Viego of Riot Games. Back to our game. The consistent event is the jungler in League of Legends. It is the only player that will pay a visit to each lane at a time. And so yes, thinking on behalf of the team is your role as a jungler, to create the most seamless and safest trip from the start of the game to the end, made into a favorable winning situation. And I think finally, I am closer to the real reason why we are playing League of Legends. We decide to play League of Legends to find an answer to a deeper question, a question hidden within each one of us. Who is the natural leader? Because if you notice, in this game, we are not one team, but a bundle of individuals trying to play the game as a cohesive unit. Bot side reflect the typical duo player, because whenever someone insults us, the other either leaves or responds with another insult. This disunity extends to every role. For example, The middle lane represents your typical non-player human being that lives around you. It is possibly your neighbor, your teacher, your boss, or your coworker, that person who's there but not really there. They wouldn't even make a difference if they stopped existing suddenly. And then there's our top side, a role we admire, hoping for him to be our MVP. He is supposed to embody perseverance, patience, and strength, but in this game, he's just there. Whenever we are around him, he waits for us to lead, to clear the way, to show him what to do and how to do it, possibly even spoon-feeding him while telling him a bedtime story. Meanwhile, we're stuck wrestling with our own inner thoughts and monologues, asking ourselves, why are we playing this game at 1 a.m. instead of going to sleep? And all of this, in the end, leads us to one critical question. Who is the leader of our team, and who should it be? I believe that there must be one quality that is important in any leader in any situation. First, he needs to represent everything that is calm and peaceful. Second, he needs to lead by example. So if someone is calm in every situation and leads by example, they are a clear candidate to be the leader of that group. However, if we look closely at this game, at this specific moment, I can say for sure, on either team, and in many games, there is not a single person who fits the role, not even as a candidate, let alone a draft of what a leader could be. Hence, this brings us to another question: how to win a game when you have to be the leader while you are not fit to lead. But before that, we should not forget that this space is a space of fun and enjoyment. It is not a space where, in principle, seriousness is a factor. Most of the players here are just playing to blow off steam after a long day at work or after dealing with a stressful life. They are seeking a place where they can have the best experience, possibly within their closed boxes called homes. So, they play games, and one of the games is MOBAs. These games are heavily reliant on communication, and here again, Riot Games ensures that communication is punishable by law. If you type anything to convey your message in a manner that doesn't suit or align with their rules, you will be banned. Let me tell you one thing. I have been banned so many times that I believe it's been 3 years since I last got the prestige. Whatever skin. I've even forgotten the name of the skin you get at the end of each season. Because of that, I decided to stop typing altogether. And even if I do, it is minimal. Just one instructional message that says a single thing. It might even be a letter. For example, R means, press R, you idiot, before I press your head. A quick and responsible way to communicate without breaking any rules. Now, if you look at the graph, you will notice we are still losing. Even though we managed to get some kills, it is bad. Nothing we do is bringing us closer to winning the game. So, how do you lead when you are not fit to be a leader? The answer is simple. First, act like a leader until you become the leader, for a bunch of people that don't even deserve to have a leader in the first place. Now, to bring everything that has happened so far in this game and sum it up in one sentence, we were beyond losing, then went to beyond saving. At a certain point, we became a hopeless team, and suddenly, we were almost even in the game. All of this happened because, to be honest, I don't know why it happened. So far in this game, the only thing I am sure of is that I made all the bad calls. The only thing I did right was to never give up on the game. I didn't care at all about what my teammates were saying, and at each stage of the game, I stuck to the one thing I was absolutely sure of, even if it looked like a bad coin flip. This brings us back to the question, where do our ideas come from? Is it our past experiences? Is it our brain running a tiny simulation, trying to predict the future? In my case, I can say my decisions come from my gut. If I feel that a decision is the most likely to succeed, even if it looks bad or goes against reason, I will follow that decision. And for example, in this instance, even though it looked like a good engage angle, I felt that I didn't have to do anything to make the call. This form of stillness and non-interaction with the team at such a crucial stage of the game might have conveyed to my allies the impression that I was indifferent to the game. But on the other hand, my decision was not to decide at all. In other words, I chose to let the enemy team start the fight. Now this defensive state is stressful, particularly for the carries, but it is safer for us because we are tankier by nature. Our itemization reinforces the idea that we can survive the enemy's first rotation of spells, in theory. However, against their composition, we would die if we were focused by all of them at once. This feeling to hold back came from my gut. And while it might seem like a calculated decision, trust me, based on experience, this is the worst quality to have in a leader. Even if the decision is fruitful and yields good results, your team won't trust or believe in your gut. That lack of trust will make the call a bad one, regardless of the outcome. The only reason I now know what to do and can articulate it in a sentence is because I watched the game afterward. As I reviewed it, I reflected and asked myself, why did we do such things? Why did we make those calls? This recollection of memory, this process of looking back and analyzing, is also a part of knowing who you are and why you make the decisions you do in every given opportunity. Now, One thing is certain, some people believe that what matters most is the journey, while others believe it is the destination. This question often lingers whenever we need to make a decision. Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the reward? Or will the effort simply teach us a new lesson? This hidden evaluation happens in our minds, whether we are aware of it or not. The only thing that forces us to reflect on this fully is death. Whenever you die in-game, you inevitably ask yourself, was it worth it? Was dying here the right call? In my opinion, sometimes yes. Another thing to consider is that we are playing a bear, Volibear, which reflects an aspect of our nature. We are seeking the fight. Yet the enemy top laner, Camille, is one of those champions that's incredibly hard to duel. Whenever I engage her, she chunks my health like a hot knife through butter. It always makes me wonder, is there a way to deal with this? In this instance, I decided to find out. I told myself, you know what? Let's see who wins, Volibear or Camille. And the answer turned out to be quite simple. The one who starts the fight is most likely to win. This realization presented a stark contrast to my earlier thoughts about staying patient and waiting for the enemy to engage. It's a different mindset altogether, this is what I meant. Volibear represents a calm yet unstable point of equilibrium, raging through the rift as a relentless storm. That duality, the storm's fury and the eye's stillness, is why I truly enjoy playing this champion, even after the rework. And then comes the final question that presents itself. What about you?